How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Before we get into today's video, definitely be sure to leave a like, subscribe, as well as comment down below. It helps me out a lot as a smaller YouTuber. But anyways, today we are going to be talking about this new special edition of the Polestar 2, the 2023 Polestar 2 BST Edition 270. Now, this is a very limited run of this Polestar 2, but it is making a decent amount more power than the actual dual engine Polestar 2, which we're going to be talking about the specs for the single engine, the dual engine, as well as this limited edition one in a second. But again, definitely be sure to support the channel in any way. I definitely appreciate any of the support that you guys give to the channel. But now, looking at this first article here by Car and Driver, this is basically just the regular review article and kind of where they score it. And this is for the 2023 Polestar 2. Now, it starts at $50,000 or just under $50,000, but that is for the single engine one. Now, the single engine one is very low performing. Now, obviously, if you don't know already, these Polestars are fully electric vehicles, and for what they are, I mean, again, they're like a boxy sedan almost, and they don't really have that much style. I do like the headlight design and the taillight design, and I do like kind of the minimalist style with the badges. You just have the Polestar star on the front as well as the Polestar star on the rear, and nothing really else going on. They also come with big brakes, which are very nice, but for the most part, they look very boxy. They look pretty ugly, honestly, in my own opinion, compared to the Polestar 1s. However, they do make a decent amount of power, considering that they are fully electric, and obviously they do have the acceleration that you get from any sort of electric vehicles. And even though I do tend to rip on electric vehicles a lot, that is definitely one of the pros to electric-powered vehicles compared to internal combustion engine-powered vehicles. Now, the single-motor one does start at $50,000 and the dual motor starts at $53,000, and if I were to buy one of these, I would 100% go with the dual motor. So the reason why is because this single motor variant only makes 231 horsepower, which you can see right there, and it has a very mediocre 6.8 second 0 to 60 time, which for an electric vehicle, you definitely want a quicker acceleration than something like that. Now, the dual motor Polestar 2 actually makes 408 horsepower, so almost double the power, and it actually does have a 0 to 60 time of 4.1 seconds, so still not incredibly fast. These are heavier vehicles. Obviously, they are fully electric, so they have all those batteries underneath. But a 4.1 second 0 to 60 is definitely a hell of a lot more fun than a 6.8 second 0 to 60. And considering that, again, the single motor variant is basically just a little over $3,000 less than the dual motor, I think it's 100% worth it if you have the money to go for the dual motor trim of this car. Now, keeping that in mind, the Polestar 2, the dual motor variant, is able to pull 0.9 Gs in corners and does have a pretty impressive braking distance, because again, they do have those Brembo big brakes on them from factory. I don't know if they're specifically Brembos or if they're from another manufacturer, but let me know down in the comments below. But I've seen them in person, and they are pretty big brakes. I think in the front they're 6-piston calipers, and then in the rear they're either just 2 or 4-piston calipers. I don't remember specifically, but they are pretty big, and the actual rotors themselves are pretty big diameter. Now, moving on from the regular single motor and dual motor configurations, and looking at this second article, which both these articles will be linked down in the description below, like always. So if you want to take a deeper dive into them, definitely feel free to check them out. They're both on Car and Driver. And this one specifically focuses on the 2023 Polestar 2 BST Edition 270. And this one actually does have 502 foot-pounds of torque and 476 horsepower, so definitely making a decent amount more than the standard trim for the dual motor one. And it also comes with a couple aesthetic upgrades, and you can get this little stripe on it with the number 2, you know, a couple cheesy stuff like that. But the main upgrades are obviously, again, making a decent amount more power, as well as I think the 21-inch wheels, and there's adjustable dampers in the suspension, as well as the ride height is about an inch or like a 2 inches actually lower than the regular Polestar 2. Also, the 21-inch wheels that do come on this special edition Polestar 2 are actually inspired by the same designs as the wheels on the Polestar 1. You can actually go through this little photo gallery here. I can kind of get a better picture of the wheels, but you can see that it just looks a little bit more aggressive. There's some aesthetic features that have changed. Now, my main problem with this car comes in the pricing. Now, we'll get to that in a second, but this is a better picture of the wheels that I was trying to find before, and these are again mirroring the design of the factory wheels found on the Polestar 1s. So if you're a fan of the Polestar 1 wheels, this may be a good option for you. And I mean, who knows, maybe throwing these wheels on a regular Polestar 2 might be worth it for you too. Although I don't know if any Polestar purists out there might get offended by that. But the main problem that I do have with this car is this number right here. Basically starting at just under 77,000 US dollars, and that is a huge jump from the 53 found in the Polestar 2. Now again, going back to this first article where it compares the prices for all three of them right next to each other, if I was actually in the market for a Polestar 2, and what I recommend to anyone of you that are out there looking for one of these vehicles, I would just go with the regular standard dual motor. Yes, the 500 plus foot-pounds of torque and the almost 500 horsepower found in the BST Edition 270 definitely will provide for a much more fun driving experience, but I really do not think that it is worth the 20,000+ US dollar jump in the starting MSRP. Again, that's my own personal opinion. You still have the all-wheel drive in the dual motor setup, so you don't have like the front wheel drive, which I believe is the only available setup in the single motor configuration. But these are fantastic, like, you know, little sedans. They're great for commuting. I don't know the reliability on them, considering that they are rather new. I think they've only really been out for like a couple model years by now. If you're looking for a fully electric vehicle and you're just using something like this back and forth to work, I don't think that you would have a problem with it. And plus, it does have a decent amount of power where it could provide for a fun driving experience. Although driving EVs compared to, you know, standard internal combustion engine vehicles is a really whole different animal in and out of itself, because most EVs drive the same. I mean, me, like myself, as a car reviewer on YouTube, it's very hard to review EVs. I've done, I think, one or two before, and pretty much every single EV that I've driven in, whether it's for YouTube or not, they all drive the same. They all accelerate pretty fast. They're rather on the heavy side and a little bit clunky. I know this Polestar 2 can pull up to 0.9 Gs in a corner, so that is definitely pretty promising. If you wanted to take something like this out to a track day, I'm sure it won't be completely outclassed by some of the different gas-powered sports cars actually going out on the track. And also the range for these Polestars isn't too bad either. So overall, I do think that they are great, like kind of commuter, but also like semi-sleeper vehicles. And this new BST Edition 270, I think it's really impressive, don't get me wrong, but considering that for, you know, 77,000 US dollars, you could pretty much get a decent used R35 GTR, higher end BMW, like even maybe like a Shelby GT350 or GT350R, you know, something like that. Like, yeah, I just don't think that the Polestar 2 for 77,000 US dollars is really worth it, in my opinion. Let me know if you guys agree with me down in the comments below, and also let me know if you disagree with me and why, because I love to hear all your different opinions. Oftentimes you guys teach me some things down in the comment section, so I do appreciate any of the comments down there. And also I do appreciate if you guys were to drop a like on this video and subscribe, like I said at the beginning. But anyways, like always, thank you so much for the ongoing support, and I'll see you in the next video.